It is 6 o'clock. If we could all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You got that sheet?
Let me just, I see some new faces, so I'm not sure if you all signed in. If you plan on speaking, if you could sign the sheet, I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, Megan, if you could pick up the sign-in sheet. All right, the voice of the resident, we have Samuel Donahue, who sent a letter in for Idle Wheels Lane regarding a plowing consideration. And that was, he was wondering if the township would be interested in entering into an agreement to plow the private road at Idle Wheels Lane between Meadowlark and Mile Lane. This would be funded by the residents of homes on this road on a contract basis, written and funded in a way agreeable to the township. There has been considerable development on this road with several new houses. It seems that it has become a problem to obtain a private contractor willing to do this. Also, with the necessity of emergency services being able to reach homes in this area. It is necessary that a solution be found. The developer of this area did not provide the necessary infrastructure for this development, and it now has become an issue that needs to be addressed. I am inquiring as a private property owner on this road, not representing or affiliated with any group concerning this road, just looking to pass along any information concerning this to help find a solution. In the future, I would recommend, before the issue of building permits, the infrastructure of the area be considered. Sincerely, Samuel Donahue. All right, and he just sent an email.
Okay,
he's not here.
No.
No.
He just wanted
He just
feedback.
wanted that for consideration and feedback. All right. Voice of the residents. Would anyone like to speak? If you could state your name, please.
Sure. My name is Cynthia Bear, and I am actually here with 3 other residents of Queen Esther Estate's development. And we, sorry, 4. And we are here to ask and to let you know that the condition of our road is, it's deteriorating more and more every year. And we're trying to figure out how we can get a fix. I have been in touch with Tina Pickett and asked if there were any resources available from the state. Basically, she said no, except for the gasoline tax revenues. So I'm partly here to make you aware of it. There are what I would call, they're beyond potholes in some locations. It's not passable. 2 cars can't pass on parts of that road. It's crumbling on the sides, and I think it's pretty dangerous. One of my neighbors had a near collision this week because somebody was moving into his lane and trying to avoid the very deep pothole, and because it's a winding road, you don't have visibility there either, so it's pretty bad.
Tony, do you have any update on it?
Yes, so for Queen Esther, we've been up there, actually we're up there again today. So we filled what we could with coal patch. I mean, everything else is a matter of needing hot patch, or we just need to re-mill it and do it. I've been talking to Steve Kehoe, and he is going to work me up an estimate for repair for Queen Esther. I should have it. He said if you can't get to it by Friday, I'm hoping Monday, and I'll have something on paper to let us know, what it would cost.
Okay.
The problem they're facing right now is the price of asphalt is like 100 to 125 per now. So everything is just, it's raising.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Cynthia.
Is there any way you can do that with 2-inch minus?
I mean,
Backbladed in with a loader? I mean, you're not gonna fix that 3/4 of an inch of asphalt up there. I was up there last week.
I was almost, I'd even thought about maybe something with maybe a concrete mix, putting a little in there with that. Maybe it'll make it a little stable until we can get the right stuff to do it.
Use inch minus.
Okay, so we'll get the estimate from Steve and we'll,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
okay.
I'm working it.
All right, thank you.
Could I
All
ask
right.
a question?
Yeah, let me just, sorry, I need to start the timer. For those that are new, it's a 3-minute, you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Give me just 1 second. Go ahead.
What resources does the township have other than its tax resources? Is there, how much do you get from the fuel tax? Or do you get any?
Yeah, there's like Act
Yeah,
13.
we got $212,000 in 2026.
So can I ask a question?
Her 3 minutes is not up.
Okay. It's just pertaining to her question.
It's okay.
You'll need to wait. Was that all, Cynthia?
Yes.
State your name.
Rosemary Firestein. And I guess my follow-up to that is I have the 2026 budget in my hand. And it looks like in Act 13, the 2026 budget, total expenses, $166,500. The total income, Mason just said 212,000 in 2026 in Act 13.
Right?
The balance sheet sitting outside the door for Act 13 says $836,633.60, which is a difference of $600,000. It's not budgeted in 2026, as far as I can see on the 2026 budget. Is there a reason that we're not putting those funds towards the road repairs?
I can answer that.
Okay,
So we were looking over the budget earlier today to see what we could actually use on the current roads, and specifically for Westbrook and Hillcrest, and we were going to be trying to allocate those funds to be used for current projects that are happening. The reason why you're seeing that there's no budget items for the 2026 year now is because there was no in-depth plan set on what they could do, because obviously there was no public works supervisor, and
I'm sorry, there's no what?
there's no public works supervisor, aka Tony. So we're going to be looking at our avenues to use those funds in October, whatever the project starts.
So when all those folks came in last fall from Hillcrest and Westbrook and Jacob and Rosh and those roads, and you emphatically, not you, but the board emphatically said there is no money, $800,000 was rolled over in Act 13 from 25 to 26, and the income coming in was 212. Is that
Okay.
correct?
So so we're working on a plan now to get those roads in current condition.
Good.
So
No, I love it. I love it. And I
we're working on
appreciate
it.
your answer. So does that, since that's not budgeted, does that come back out for public comment when you do decide what you're going to do with it?
It requires a resolution
Yeah.
to the board to reallocate those funds.
They weren't allocated to begin with, right?
No, but we're going to be reallocating those funds at a later meeting so that we can actually do the work.
So there'll be a resolution.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I don't know if that answers Queen Esther's residence
Doesn't matter.
questions, but you're nagging at me.
Any other, can you
Yes,
state your name?
My name's Mike Fantini. I'm also a resident of Queen Esther. Nice to see a military person. Thanks for your service. I'm a retired Air Force officer after 33 years.
Thank you for your
Moved here
service.
6 years ago. I want to just say thank you as well to Mr. Lundy and your team, because when we identified a similar issue, which now is much more extreme, frankly, but we have seen an effort to take care of the potholes from last year in 2025, so thank you. And I do appreciate the fact that you have good eyes on
Yes, yeah, I'm trying.
and are talking about the potentials. So we're happy to work with you as you move forward as well.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
just moved back up here too. I retired from the Army in 20 or so, and getting back in after
2020
30.
Air Force. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, any other voice of resident? If I can figure out this quick.
It just beeps all the time.
All right, we will move on with the agenda, the Athens Township Authority.
I don't have anything other than the report.
We have the report from March 16th. March bills presented to the authority members totaled $111,047. And the delinquent list was reviewed in the amount of $14,749.25, which is down from $17,259.54 from the last month. Maintenance, they had a rail break at the pump station 7. He was able to get the pump back down using one rail. And legal, other business, update on the Army Corps of Engineers. Julie stated that she found some paperwork to go along with that and will be meeting with the attorney in regards to what was found. Any questions from the board on that? All right, the Athens Township Planning Commission and Zoning Department. We have the proposed data center development standards amendment draft. Public input needed by the 15th of May. John, do you want to speak to the data center?
Sure. The county has a subdivision and land development ordinance that basically governs any new development, whether it be a solar farm was our most recent amendment. That was approximately a year and a half ago. Now they are looking at updating to include some provisions for data centers. As part of that, there is a draft that has been circulated to all the municipalities for comment, whether or not they have any opposition or would like to see something more stringent, whatever the case may be. As a result of that, that's why the Planning Commission in Athens Township has basically reviewed that anticipated amendment, and I'm not sure if they've completed that, but ultimately they will be providing comment as far as good, bad, or indifferent. At this point, I can tell you that there is no data center anticipated in Athens Township of which we are aware of, but again, this is a county-wide basis.
Yeah, the second version of that draft came out on, we were emailed it.
That's
It
right.
was emailed over to us on the 22nd, so the Planning Commission hasn't even had it for, like, to review at the meeting.
No, and it's going to have to be advertised, and there'll be other opportunities for public comment as well.
Did I hear
Thank
you
you, John.
correctly that you said there was no data center scheduled in the county?
No, I said in Athens Township.
All right. Anything else from the board on the data center? All right. Hold on, please.
It won't take 3 minutes.
Go ahead, state your name.
Nancy Witt.
topic is the AI data centers. It's not just Athens Township. I mean, if you look at a map, we're like the donut, and the other boroughs are in the hole. So if Sarah decides they want to do something, or Waverly, or the borough decides they want to do something, we're all in the same boat. My suggestion, and I've suggested this as well to the Planning Commission when they met last week, was that we all get together in one room and act like neighbors and a community and talk about this, because if one of us wants to do something, it's going to affect all of us. You can't go anywhere without going through one or the other. I know I've put this out there before. I've heard from people who lived here that, oh, it's a kingdom thing. Nobody wants to deal with these people, or these people don't want to do that. But sometimes you just got to get yourself together, forget all the crap from behind, and get organized. Because if we don't, we're going to get run over. And it's happening all over the country. And I have one word for the committee, and it's moratorium. If you just say absolutely no, Bradford County should just say no. Or if you want to put a time limit on it, but give it time to figure out, because it's a huge impact. It's not just the water and the power and the noise and the vibrations. There's a lot of health impact on people's lives, livestock. It's a death knell, personally. I think it's a horrible thing. The more you read, the scarier you get. So that's my 2 cents worth. I think we should have a community, organized, Valley Commission, whatever you want to call it. I'd be happy to reach out and try to get somebody together. I mean, we've done it before. The military does it all the time. We work with all of the other people in the areas, and that's how things get done. But this isolationist theory that we all have here is not going to get it when it comes to something like this. So that's all.
Is acting proactively. That's the intention, is to get the municipalities together that are interested. So that is precisely what it is that they anticipate by looking at the provisions within their CELDO.
Exactly, but if you read a little bit further, it comes down and says it will come down to the Board of Supervisors to each one of these little areas. So if y'all decide something, it's going to affect Sarah, and vice versa. So that's my point. It comes down to guys like y'all in little groups. So, that's...
All right, we're going to go to the Fire Police Services request May 2nd and May 3rd for the Valley Arts for All. So are they looking for, is this just notification that we've done it before, so just...
They have done it before. If they need the formal go-ahead from the board to do.
They just need to go ahead.
No. They need the formal approval from the board
for the Bressler Street.
To help at the Arts for All with traffic and etc.
Okay. So do we need a motion on that,
Yeah.
John?
I would probably recommend that we go ahead and give their approval.
Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And there's going to be a chicken barbecue fundraiser on May 17th at 11 a.m.
It's really good.
So the chicken's really good if you haven't had it.
It is really good.
All right, we are moving to the Parks Commission, letter of support for the Endless Mountain Heritage Region, Pavilion Restoration at Round Top.
We had a meeting the other night. I have offered to write a $2,000 check to the ladies who are coming up and capturing these kittens, spaying and neutering, and finding them homes. I'll do that tonight. Pretty much Mr. Merklin and I and the other gentleman in the first meeting agreed that this is not a township issue, and we're going to let this charity take care of this. I believe we do need an ordinance that would inflict a substantial fine to anyone who intentionally abandons an animal in the township. I know it's been brought up before. I think it was received with lukewarm enthusiasm at best. But I would suggest this. If you know that you throw a cat out of your car in Athens Township and you may face a $10,000 fine, if you have any brains at all, you're just going to go the extra mile and dump it off in Sayre. They don't care.
All right, so back to the letter of support for the mini grant application. The letter that we would like to send out is the Board of Supervisors of Athens Township is writing in strong support of the grant application submitted by our Parks and Recreation Commission for the rehabilitation of Pavilions 7 and 8 at Round Top Park in Athens Township. The original Rotary Pavilion 20 by 20 dates to 1957 with an additional 60 by 20 pavilion added adjacent to this in 1984. The construction of and work on this second pavilion can be traced to the U.S. Navy Seabees unit out of Horseheads, New York. Round Top Park is a 575-acre park with both open space and woodlands. We have 15 pavilions, 3 playgrounds, a fishing pond, a ball field, and over 25 miles of various trails. The trails, hiking, cross-country skiing, cross-country track, mountain biking, and off-road vehicles such as ATVs and dirt bikes are not only used by our Valley residents, but by residents from other areas of New York State and Pennsylvania. We are one of the only ATV trail parks within a 50-mile radius, so it is widely used. Our fishing pond is also very popular. The Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, YMCA, and area schools all use our park. We also have many reunions, company events, fundraisers, and churches that enjoy all our park has to offer. This grant would greatly improve our ability to continue to provide family recreational opportunities throughout the park. We ask that you give your greatest consideration to this application to help make our facilities the best they can be for the many users we have. Just need a motion to allow me to sign this letter for the grant.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thanks. Oh, sorry. Like getting in your face. All right, we're going to move to the Public Works Department. Tony, we've got Pavement Management Group Representative Howard Mills to present.
Yes, ma'am. So Howard represents PMG, Pavement Management Group. Trying to think of every avenue, every tool it can use to track these roads and to try to help make them better. That's what Howard's organization does. They, it's cameras on the vehicles. They scan all the roads and everything that are in it, and then they work estimates. What should be done to this road now? What should be done to this one? Next year, that type of stuff. So Howard drove in 4 hours to
three, not 4, 3.
to go over this with us. Yeah.
So how do we want to, and I apologize, Karen, we've had some technical difficulties,
Yeah,
so
I
I'll
tried.
go up my screen as a backup. How do you want to get that up so people can see it?
Well, I'll hold it steady
Okay.
or fall over with it.
So thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm a former
Thank
town
you.
supervisor in New York State many years ago.
Thank you.
So Pavement Management Group, what we do is we are a company founded by roadway experts who developed some pretty amazing technology. We go out to a municipality, we drive the municipality, we get high definition video, and from that video we create dashboards and reports that allow municipalities to really to know exactly what the problems are with the roads. They grade the roads by the Pavement Condition Index. You'll hear me talk about the PCI, which was founded by the United States Army Corps of Engineers in the 1950s and made public to evaluate military runways. A 1 is a failed road, 100 is a great road. So a PCI of 55 is a critical number. If your PCI is 55, that means that road is already lost. If it's an asphalt road, but you're at 55 and below, you are doomed to a very expensive reconstructive treatment. The art, the science, the skill of using a pavement management program is to work with those roads above 55 and maintain them, improve them, at least put them in a condition of a static condition where they don't deteriorate any longer. When you do make the investment to get a road to a very high PCI, you repave it. You then go back there with very inexpensive treatments that can keep it in that condition for a very long period of time. And over time, municipalities improve their roadways and start to spend less money. It's a lengthy process, of course, but you can do that. So I don't know if everybody can see this. This is the village of Hempstead in New York State on Long Island in Nassau County. And so you'll see that if everybody can see these numbers, you'll see that the village of Hempstead is 71.7 miles. Their overall pavement condition index is a 59. So they're just at their whole overall network is just barely above the point of no return. So they've got some real problems. Their backlog is $14.9 million. What that means is if they do everything we're recommending on this map, that's what it will cost. And we work with the municipality to get those numbers. So Tony would have to sign off on those numbers. We don't just make them up out of thin air. We'd be talking to Tony throughout the process. It's very collaborative, getting his input on unit pricing, contractors, etc. So how you use this? You'll see we've got the roads broken down, and you'll see as you hover over a number with the color, you start to get data. Those are all the excellent roads in the village of Hempstead, right there. 11 miles, a PCI of 95, and the backlog, $260,000. What we're saying there is we're recommending that they do very inexpensive treatments like rejuvenators to keep those roads in very good shape. So the blue are excellent, the green are good, the yellow are fair, the orange are poor, and the red are your failed roads, your worst roads, okay? And as you see, as you're clicking, you can isolate. So if you want to just look at all the worst roads, reset. You want to look at all the worst roads in the village of Hempstead, there they are, 8.5 miles, PCI of 23, backlog of 4.5 million. And the way this works is you can go anywhere in the map, click on any street, and up pops a precise geolocation. Now, I'm sorry, your internet's a little slow here, so we should be seeing a picture of the road shortly. But you are seeing a lot of data already. So we break up all the roads into logical sections, usually at intersections, but we work again with Tony on segments because there might be a road, let's say you've got a 3-mile stretch of road where he has done some work at some point. That would be a logical segment that would be different. Okay, we have a picture here. So you're getting a lot of data right away. We're giving you the length, the width, the area square footage, the surface type. Here's the PCI is a 28, so very bad condition, category 5. And you'll see right here, just by clicking on the road, we're recommending a structural treatment. That's basically rebuilding the road at a cost of $92,000. And you play the video, and you see your conditions. So that's a pretty rough road in Hempstead.
Yeah, looks like everything. Yeah.
Who does the work?
Who does what work?
The repair.
Oh, well, that's up to the municipality. They contract it out. We do not do the construction. We deliver the recommendations, the treatments, the cost projections, etc. So the dashboard is very easy to use. You just hit this little blue button and it resets. So now this is over here the pick list. You can pick on any street and you go right to that location. You notice the pick list shrinks. Let's look at an average road here. So you get the idea of the video. And again, I'm sorry, it's not running too fast because of the internet. But there are so many great uses. So, Mr. Lynn, do you guys do any crack filling? Crack filling.
No.
Okay. Well, it's a very effective treatment. Once you have a road above 55, above, if you have asphalt, crack filling is a very, very strongly recommended treatment. Can maintain a road for a long time. A lot of municipalities contract that out. We break all the different roadway treatments into broad categories. Rejuvenation, which corresponds with your excellent roads. Maintenance with your good roads. Preservation with your fair roads, etc. So crack filling is a maintenance activity. And the way you can do this is you can go to a contractor and say, hey, look, we've got 12.7 miles of road that need to be crack filled. And that is what we expect to pay for it. So municipalities can use this program to get very, very good bids from contractors. It's also very, very effective in seeking funding grants and things, because you can go and you can say to a state legislator, hey, you give us X amount of dollars, this is the road that we will fix, this is the treatment that we will do, and we have a commitment going forward with this plan to maintain it going forward. That's the whole idea of pavement management. Once you have your roads in a good condition, you want to keep them there, maintain them, prevent them from falling down, and that's how you start to, over time improve your network. Now, I understand you have about 30 miles of dirt roads here. We can treat them differently. So in Long Island, they have a lot of concrete roads. In the village of Hempstead, they have 2.7, so not too much in that village, but we can do a PCI for concrete. Now, on dirt roads, what we would do is we would do a very personalized treatment. Mr. Lundy has met the founder, the president of our company, a guy named James Golden. He's all over the internet. He's a real roadway expert. He knows roads better than anybody. We do a very personalized sit down with you on recommendations for dirt roads, how to keep them in as good a condition as possible as you go forward. We take every bit of data that you have and we put it into a spreadsheet for you. This is how most highway departments work, out of a spreadsheet. So every segment of road would have this spreadsheet. You've got the segments, you've got, again, the length, the width, the area square footage, you've got all the way to the end, you've got the pavement condition index scoring, and then a treatment recommendation. Here at the top one, we're saying a structural. You've got a unit cost of $2.11 per square foot, total project cost of $32,000, and from the spreadsheet, you can go and get eyes on the road again. The video is the key, because the video doesn't lie. It confirms the PCI that we're saying. It reaffirms the treatment recommendation that we're giving, etc. And apologies, it's not running too fast. We put together a written report for all of our projects that is written from the point of view of a layman. So this is something that people who are not roadway experts can read and distribute, of course, to your public. And in that report, we go through the whole project. We go through the science of pavement management. We talk about, in a minute here you'll see, we explain the pavement condition index. We explain the different categories of roads. We talk about the different treatments. And we try to make it easier for decision makers to make decisions. So, for example, one of the things, and I remember this very well when I sat in the seat that you folks are in now as a town supervisor, you can get some tough questions from the residents, the taxpayers, understandably. Here's a great example. So here is in the village of Hempstead, and your report would have pictures, obviously, of roads here in Athens, but here is an excellent road in the village of Hempstead that you can see it's black, it's just been paved, but we are recommending that this very good road, that the village go out and they do a very inexpensive treatment called a rejuvenation treatment. Asphalt, the quality of asphalt has deteriorated tremendously in the last 20 years. A lot of environmental regulations, well-intentioned, reducing the amount of oils and things that can go into asphalt. Asphalt now starts to decay literally the minute you put it down. It starts to oxidize in that first several days. The asphalt gets very brittle and the fines start to come up. These rejuvenation treatments are proven to extend the life of roadways, if you do it early on, by like 5-6 years with one very inexpensive treatment. And you can reapply those treatments. So what this report is meant to do is to help decision makers, help Mr. Lundy, and here's an example. So there'll be 2 roads here in Athens, both are in need of being rebuilt. And one road is prioritized above the other because more people live on it, traffic count. So that makes sense. The people on the other road that don't get that prioritization, they understand it, they're not happy about it. But here's what they won't understand. A year goes by, and the road that was just rebuilt, and they still haven't gotten to their road, now they see Tony's out there putting a rejuvenation treatment. Now that constituent on that other road may very well call and say, hey, what the heck are you doing? You just rebuilt their road. It's perfectly good. You haven't done anything to my roads yet. This explains why this makes sense from the total taxpayer perspective. Because once you have a road in good condition, you can very inexpensively keep it in good condition. And of course, the goal is that then you would express to that other constituent, when we get to your road, we'll do the same for you. So that's the idea behind the program. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let me stop. And any questions that you have? I mean, I'm happy to go through, there's a lot more I can show, but I don't want to, I think you got the idea, I want to be sensitive to the time.
Right. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Mills?
I have a question. Do you do this one time? Do you come back every so often and re-up it? Is it a contractual agreement for so many years, or how does it work?
Great question. So the way our typical municipal contract works is a 2-year contract. So we have a 2-year contract. We go out and we capture this video at the beginning one time, that 2-year project. But then we are roadway consultants that remain engaged. So we would continue to work with Mr. Lundy throughout that 2-year process. He would tell us everything that he did in terms of work during his work season, and then we would update the pavement condition index for the town of Athens. It would obviously go up a bit based upon what he's done. We also will attach a deterioration curve. If he tells us didn't get to do anything on this road, from the one-time data, we can very accurately project for 2-3 years, very accurately, the improvements in the PCI, the decreases in the PCI. But what we seek to do is then have the municipality renew the contract, and then we go back out and do the video capture again in the 3rd year. What I'm really proud of is our pricing. We price per center lane mile, $275 per center lane mile, which is very inexpensive. So for the town of Athens, at 74 miles, you're talking a $20,000 project for a 2-year contract. That's 2 years. We remain engaged with you. They can call, Tony, anybody can call our experts, say, hey, look, what do you think about this treatment? Have you ever tried it? Etc. That's the way we work. We're all over the country, and our retention rate with our municipal clients is about 85%.
Do you have a list of the customers?
Yes, I will get Tony a list of references. Most of those will be municipalities in Ohio, Florida, New York. But yes, absolutely.
Haven't done much in Pennsylvania?
We have not. We're just now getting into Pennsylvania. But we're talking to a lot of municipalities in Pennsylvania right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I met Mr. Golden down at Penn State when I was down there for that class, and he was speaking to a couple of the other townships down there by Center Valley and everything, and that's just how I got introduced, and because they were looking at adopting it, because they have problems with like the Amish, the buggies going through and they're just tearing up the roads, and it's similar to, they're similar to here, like, well, because I'm the 4th director or superintendent, whatever, within the past couple years, and there's very little historical data. I mean, everything was written on a piece of paper, and I'm trying to, rebuild it. So that's, it's kind of what I liked about it.
What's one of the benefits of the program is you're building the database, it becomes a legacy, and you have benchmarks that you can measure against. And it's very good from the elected officials' perspective to convey to the public, and it's also very good from the public's perspective to hold municipalities accountable.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you have expertise in recommending various funding resources based on your experience with working with local, state, and federal folks? And what might that look like?
Yes, we do. So it depends from state to state. So I'm obviously focused on New York, and I have a political background in New York. So we're working with a program in New York called the CHIPS program, the Consolidated Highway Improvement Program. I'll be honest with you, I have not yet really studied what's going on in Pennsylvania, but I'm working with some people that will know that very well. So yes, we give municipalities data and the ability to be very, very competitive in the grants process, looking for funding, because, and I believe that we're starting to see this national movement toward sustainability, and I think that over time you're going to see more states saying to municipalities, have a pavement management program in place, have a plan to maintain, preserve your roads, and not let them continually deteriorate. So what we're trying to do is break something known as the worst to first cycle. And I saw it when I was in politics. The worst roads get the attention, people complaining, coming to the town, but then what happens is, okay, we've just spent a lot of money on this road, now we got to get to the next road, and the deterioration starts right away, because you've got to have the data to be able to justify why we're going back and making investments.
The $20,000 on the contract, what does that cover? Are there I've heard some hidden things that.
There's nothing hidden. So that is everything. So for a 2-year contract with Pavement Management Group, you would get this dashboard, personalized to your municipality, all the data. You own it. By the way, this is not software. We have software. We are not selling you software to maintain. We deliver this dashboard in an ArcGIS link. You control the access to it. It's all yours. The data, once you have it, you own it. For the life of the contract, Tony can call up and talk to a pavement expert at Pavement Management Group. They can get technical support with the dashboard, which you really don't need because it's really very easy. We maintain the dashboard. It's very important. You can't play with the data. We maintain the PCI. We update it all based upon the real work history, and that lasts for 2 years. So typically, our municipal clients, we find that a 2-year contract is about 2 to 3% of 1 year's annual roadway improvement project for a 2-year contract.
Can I ask
All
a
right.
question?
Go ahead, Rosemary.
And I apologize for sitting down. I was just doing it because
Oh, you're
You're
fine.
fine.
You're fine.
No, you're
I
fine.
was just stood up so you could see the scope of the work. So I'm not a road person, but my understanding is if the drainage isn't, the ditches aren't cleaned out. I mean, our terrain's a little different than Long Island's terrain. If the ditches aren't cleaned out, if the culverts aren't cleaned out, water gets up under the roadway. I mean, we have several roads that just look like a river went down the middle of it. Does your management tool start from the beginning? You've got to have these ditches have to be in this status in order for this pavement or this dirt, gravel, low volume road treatment to work?
Yes, so everything that we see in our camera goes into our calculus, and when I had pulled up that spreadsheet earlier, you would have seen, I can show you if you'd like, but we will show what's going on the side of the road. So we'll see the culverts, we'll see the cutting, we'll see the trenching, and we will absolutely, water maintenance, you're absolutely right, is the #1 enemy of any road. And that's why crack sealing is so important. You want to keep the water out.
Thank you.
Sure.
That was my question.
All right.
I have a good question. Do you do any of do you work directly with contractors, are you in bed,
No,
for lack of a better term? Do you work with anybody, or are you your own entity, and the municipality chooses from their list of contractors, not your list of contractors?
The latter. The municipality is in charge. So we give the municipality the data that they can then go to contractors, and as I used the example of the crack sealing, get really, really, very good bids because you know what the real price is. So yeah, we are agnostic on what contractors municipalities work with. We work with the municipality direct, give them the data so they can make data-driven decisions.
So do you prioritize as well? Or do you just give the raw data and they go and then let everybody pick?
We do help prioritize. So again, one of the things that we would do at the end of this project, and it's very collaborative. So we would be working with, I presume, Tony, from the beginning on establishing the inventory, make sure we don't miss any of the roads. There are 5 points before we deliver this project where we're working with the town, in this case Tony, on the pricing. And the final thing is that he will sit down with our experts and we'll give decisions are still the town's. This is not, we don't come in and tell the town what to do, but we will absolutely help you come up with a plan that optimizes to the greatest extent possible the resources that you have available. So one of the things I didn't show, if I could show one more thing, sorry,
Sure.
We do budget scenarios. So here is in the village of Hempstead, we are showing them what their PCI, here the pavement condition index is dropping to a 54 if they spend $250,000. If they want to get their PCI up to a 58, they need to spend $500,000, etc. So that is what we do. We absolutely maximize the resources that a municipality has available.
That's what. Because it'd be hard to pick.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, no. And then, again, the municipality is still going to have to make some tough decisions, but there'll be data behind it.
To your knowledge, what is the lowest PCI score you've had for a municipality since you've been doing this?
Oh, I can tell you. We've had a municipality in New York, I won't say who they are, with their PCI was a 34. They're in a rural county upstate that had the majority of the roads were dirt roads.
Okay, because I only ask because should the board decide to go with you, I'm going to ask you again after you camera this what it is.
Oh, well, the video doesn't lie. I mean, the technology is very, very precise.
Neither does my truck.
Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Thank
I think
you.
that-
As part of the
ahead,
prioritizing, do you also take into account like traffic counts, things of that nature at all? Or just the condition of the roadway absent?
We don't actually take a traffic count in our, we're taking the condition of the roadways, and then we rely on the municipality to then put those other factors, you'll know density and things of that nature, other considerations that we won't. And at the end of the day, it's going to be Tony coming to the Board of Supervisors and making those decisions. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Please excuse me for stepping out. I'll try to be as non-disruptive as I can by lugging this big
Well, we
thing.
can give them a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll give you a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
we're
You're
fine.
fine. Thank
Thanks
you.
for making the trip.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
No,
for that.
no, I really appreciate Tony reaching out to us, and we would love to work with the town of Athens. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So-
Yeah, and if you would, get Tony a list of your customers,
Actually, I've got two right here.
just so,
Kevin, no, you have.
I've got a much more detailed
Right.
And then we
report on this.
Yes, I have a presentation on it.
And then we want to
All right, let me see.
put this on the agenda for next.
Here
week
are-
after we research.
Sorry, Howard.
On the back of this are several municipal references.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. All right.
We've been eating for a long time.
No,
You just put the other one at a time.
We got time.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let me just give these.
Oh, give one to Tressa.
Yep.
All right. I think we need to put this on the agenda next month, so that gives us time to review, look through this, and look at our budget, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we got one more here.
We still, yeah, we're still.
Oh, gotcha.
I have questions. I have a question.
All right. Give him just a minute to do his thing.
Do you want me to do this? You got it? Watch your back.
Whatever you do, don't drop it.
No.
Yeah, the one's mine. Dell.
That's the
This one right here.
What's that?
I don't have to do anything.
Or right in there. Oh, sorry.
This worked good when we first, this one worked good when we first put it in.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was. It's fine. And it wasn't.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
This must be the next presentation here. Are you setting up for another presentation,
Yes.
Tony? Okay. Lots of presenters tonight. Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you so much.
I can introduce Captain number one. Try to get this going. While he's-
Yeah. Yep.
All right, sir, I'll introduce you, and then I'll try to get this going for you while you're. Sure. So Captain Noble is here from Washington, D.C. He's part of the Army National Guard, G37. When I was active 20 years ago, we would go to communities and get our, we call it stick time. So we go out and get dozer time, grader time, whatever. We would build stuff for the community. So it sparked my interest when I was trying to think of what we could do to try to help get these roads back to where they got to be. I mean, I know it's not going to be overnight, but, and I researched the IRT program, and that's where Captain Noble comes in. His soldiers will come out to the communities during their, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is, and take over, help us build roads. So, sir.
Yeah. So my name's Captain Clayton Noble. I drove 5.5 hours yesterday at the request of Mr. Lundy. Happy to be here. I'm a Pennsylvania Guardsman as well. I just live in D.C. now. Been in the military for 10 years. I've been an officer for 6 of it. I've been in this job for 1.5 years. IRT, or Innovative Readiness Training, what it is, it's essentially a training program. Rather, I brought some swag so anyone can help themselves. What it is, it's a training program, so that gives public benefit. So the soldiers get to train in a realistic scenario while the community benefits from no-cost labor, essentially. So more information will be in this brief, so just a moment, and then we'll talk through it. The bottom right corner.
Almost 50 last year.
Yeah. So like I said, IRT, or Innovative Readiness Training, it's a training program. Next slide, please. And anyone can ask questions whenever they want. I'm chill, so whatever. This is what we're going to talk about today. Probably take about 10 minutes. Next slide, please. So when did the IRT start? It started in 1992 under the Rebuild America Initiative. And like I said, in layman's terms, it's a training program that gives civil benefit while giving military members the opportunity to train in a realistic environment. I'll give a moment for everyone to read the slide. I didn't touch it. It's all good. This one's good. So, like with any federal program, because this is a federal program using federal dollars, there are restrictions. So the military members must be doing the job they've been trained to do by the military. So if I am a dozer operator, I can only do a mission that has me doing dozer operations. I can't, give vaccination shots. It's got to be within my wheelhouse. It can't compete with the private sector. So part of the community application requirement is a public notice that lets the community know that, hey, this is going to come to our community, and if anyone has issues with that, there will be a time and place to adjudicate that. It can't be used in response to a natural disaster, but we can use it for disaster recovery. It cannot include commercial development, and finally, we cannot provide law enforcement. Next slide, please. This slide, all this slide is saying is that the IRT program is aligned with the Pentagon's greater priorities. Next slide, please. And down more to our program level, Colonel Hogan, he's our director. His vision is for a secure and prosperous America supported by strong civil-military relations. Next slide. So IRT doesn't just exist in the National Guard. Like I said, I'm a member of the Army National Guard. I have colleagues that are in the Navy Reserve, Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Air Guard. Every service has its own professional full-time staff like me that work full-time to facilitate IRT missions. And every service in the military can perform an IRT. So in theory, the Navy Seabees could come to this town to do the IRT. The Air Guard could come here. The Marine Corps Reserve could come here, the Army Reserve could come here, the Army Guard could come here. Anyone can come. Next slide, please. So the interesting thing about RT that I think is really interesting and cool is that it spans multiple disciplines. So we can have civil engineering missions like we've been talking about today. We can have medical. So last year I was in the Arctic Circle in a native community where we had a medical mission. That was really cool. We have cybersecurity missions. So I was in Idaho last month helping out with the cybersecurity mission. And there's also other ones. In fact, we helped do the paperwork for an airlift in Wyoming that's transporting dinosaur bones to a museum. So the IRT spans a lot of different disciplines, and there's a lot of cool missions that we can get after. And for the military, why it's good for us is because, like I said, nothing really beats a real-world mission. So it helps leaders develop, it gives us practice planning complex missions, and it helps us be prepared for war. Next slide, please. Like I said, this slide is just bringing home what I've already been talking about. Helps us be prepared to fight if we have to, but also gives you guys as a community a product or a service that that's beneficial. Slide. Okay, so there's two types of RTs, if you will. There is a non-funded and there's funded. So what I mean by that is for non-funded missions, that is just the unit coming out. So let me back up a step. In case you don't know, at least in the reserve component, units are given 2 weeks every fiscal year to complete their training, in addition to their 1 week and a month drills. So normally for a non-funded mission, if a unit wants to do RT, they'll use those 2 weeks to come out to the community and do that mission. Now, and that would fall under a non-funded, and the reason why it's non-funded is because that's not increasing the cost Congress has already allocated to that service to complete their training requirements. So for a non-funded, so let's say this community wanted to do a non-funded project, the timeline from when you submit the community application to when the mission actually starts is not that long. It's like 6 to 8 months I've normally seen. And there's really no overarching timeline. It's more loose. The projects are also smaller in scope too, so that's a great way to get introduced to the RT program and get practice. Now for funded or OSD funded projects, what that means is that the project scope's normally so great or a lot more sophisticated than anything that can be handled over a typical 2-week training. Normally we break it out into rotations. So an example is our big project we have this year is we're building a port in rural Alaska. So it's really expensive to get stuff to Alaska, especially when you can only get to this community by flying there. So the Pentagon has put towards like, I don't know, $500,000 this year in extra funding in addition to what Congress has already given those units to complete this mission. That timeline is normally 2 years from the start of the community application to when the project is actually completed. Next slide, please. Here's a snapshot. As you can see, we do IRTs not just in the lower 48, we do in Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. We have missions in Guam. We have a mission in Saipan this year for our cybersecurity mission. It's all over. And the really great thing about it is we're helping American communities everywhere, not just in one part of the country. So we're here for everyone. Next slide. Those are the funded missions. This is the non-funded missions. We actually did like over 30 missions. This slide's a little outdated, so I apologize for that. Yeah, next slide, please. I think that's it. All right, any questions?
When can you start?
Well, so that's a great question. So every IRT mission, right, is driven by a community request or a community application. So if you go on irt.defense.gov, that's our website. You create an account, and then someone from the community, most likely Mr. Lundy, would fill out the application with its components. So, for example, for a mission to prepare the roads, we would need an environmental compliance survey. You know, we're not destroying the rare butterfly that lives there. And a few other documents, such as the non-competition clause. Once that's submitted, then Mr. Lundy will let me know, hey, I put this application in. All right, I'll check it out. And then we don't task units. I can't tell a unit you're going to come here, but I know a lot of people, especially this part of the country. The Pennsylvania Guard and Army Reserve has a lot of engineer units. I can talk to people and get that conversation going, and perhaps get a unit out here that would be interested. So it starts with the community application, which is driven by this board, obviously, but we work in tandem, and if they have questions, I can help answer them. And then once the application is submitted, then I can assist with finding the unit. If that makes sense.
Realistically, what kind of turnaround time are we talking?
Well, for a non-funded, which is probably what you guys want to start with, 6 to 8 months. No promises, but I think 6 to 8 months is fair for most of the time, most a year. It's not a fast thing, right? Because it's not a paid service. It's a no-cost service you guys are getting. You're getting free labor, essentially. So
Before it snows again.
yeah, maybe. I hope so.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Today I took him, we spent about 2 hours riding around and walking Orcutt Creek, sections of Sutliff, Weaver Road, and the Round Top area. Just some of the rougher ones I could see that were kind of, I know that we could really, use his help with. And I know because I was, we call it 12 November, so I was a civil guy. They also do culverts and drainage. It's all part of their.
Yeah, it's part of our training requirements.
Their training requirements. So.
As far as the actual site work, I guess, how does that work for everything as a whole with equipment and materials and all that stuff? We supply the materials, you guys bring your own equipment?
That's a great question. It depends. Well, in terms of heavy equipment, in this part of the country, we'll most likely bring our own equipment, just because it's easier. Like for Alaska, we tried to bring our own Army equipment, but it just didn't work, so the community rented it.
Yeah.
But for this part of the country, I think we'd bring our own equipment. However, the military, we're not allowed to buy the bill of materials, or essentially the supplies to complete the project, because we can't take it back with us. We don't own that. So anything that's required to improve a road, the community has to purchase so we can use it. But what we bring, like I said, to the fight is our soldiers, our expertise, and our equipment to actually accomplish the mission.
So would you guys do, like, say, a material estimation for whatever project you're going to work on, and then we have that to go by to purchase materials for it then?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll get back to you. I'll get your info after this, and I'll get you a better answer.
Okay.
I think what would really help us is if in the community application, a specific scope of work with the technical information is presented, so that we can take this information, whoever the commander is of the engineering unit has a clear idea of what you guys want from us. Because if you say, like, well, improve all the roads, like, okay, well, there's 75 miles of roads, so where do you want us to actually go?
Yeah.
So just give us a narrow scope that we can actually achieve in 2 weeks, and your success is more likely.
Gotcha. Okay.
The program that this gentleman presented here, would that help?
I want to be careful, because I don't want to endorse him, because I don't
No, that's okay.
Okay, as an engineer officer, in my professional opinion, I think it would help. Yes,
Okay.
because it gives data, and it gives something we can visualize.
Okay.
But that's not me endorsing him. That's just me.
No, that's fine.
I'm an engineer officer. In my opinion, I think that would help.
Okay.
Did we say for
So-
clothing and food and everything, or?
So that's a great question. But to my knowledge, there's no National Guard armory within 30 minutes of here, right?
Right.
Are we near any sort of military installation in this town?
New Milford's the closest, probably.
Wellsboro.
Well,
How far away is that?
What happened to the one
hour.
up?
Yeah.
Matt, what's
Well,
what happened to the
your
one
guys'
up in
view,
Elmira?
hour and a half.
There used to be one.
What
up
we
on
would need
Horsehead.
to be successful,
Yeah.
most likely,
Are they
is
gone?
how we've seen it done in other projects successfully is the project will take place during the summer, and the soldiers will stay at like a high school. So there they can sleep, they can use the showers, their cooks can use the kitchen there. That's where all the life support services will take place. And since we're bringing our own equipment, most likely, we'll need a motor pool. So I already talked to Mr. Lundy about that. Motor pool is basically where we can park our vehicles securely. Those are the two big things we would need to be successful.
There was an MP unit, I believe, in Horseheads as well, which is about a half hour from here.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
There used to be a Navy detachment up there too.
Yeah. Pretty much we need a place for life support. because we can't sleep out there because it's just not really.
I mean, you want realistic.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to sleep outside.
We got
Meat
shower.
sandwiches, we need a Holiday Inn.
We got to shower at some point.
Most Army guys have the I slept outside by myself badge.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
I don't have anything
think-
else.
Excellent,
John, I'll turn
excellent
to
idea.
you as the solicitor and
I
kind
mean, I
of
think
review
we
any
have
of the
to-
criteria. And
Right, we just have
We
to-
have a little bit of work to do. Okay.
Making sure that we're not taking from, like I told Captain Noel earlier, so we just gotta make sure we're not taking from union. and-
Exactly. So we've got
That's-
we have some work to do on that end. But thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for traveling here 5 hours. That's a that's a
My
trip
pleasure.
for you.
Happy to help. My job.
All right. Moving to the next item, we have road project estimates to review for bid.
Yes. So I rode with, well, Matt and I rode with, Steve Kehoe and looked at Westbrook and Hillcrest. And he worked these up. These prices he used, he said he tried to go in a little higher in hopes that they'll be lower when bid. He used a slightly better oil for the asphalt, so a slightly better oil that they used on Erin Road. That way, you know, these will hold up a little bit better. Problem is they had 4 bids they just got approved yesterday for somebody else, and like I was saying, asphalt was coming in 100 to 125 per. So it's between that and the fuel prices, it's gotten crazy. So. So he worked these out for us for those, and then I told Matt I had been trying to figure out what I could do to help Hickory Heights, because their asphalt, I went and talked to Mr. Reed. The asphalt up there on their roads, it hasn't been touched since '98.
Yeah, it wasn't asphalt either.
It's not. That was all tarred and chipped.
Right, so.
That was the last tarred and chipped that we did.
There's a packet of information that is the Westbrook Hillcrest area, and then there's a second packet that is the.
Oh, gotcha. We're trying to see if, you know, is it
The other.
feasible to do these and then do, say, section of Hickory now and then section next year.
Yeah, we split Hickory Heights into 2 different projects essentially.
Where are we at with cleaning ditches?
So, Ganglands, they were working. I was going to get with you after this. When they were cleaning ditches, they were cleaning the trees out of them, cutting them. They weren't physically scraping them, but I do have a list in my office of the ones that they were doing in the culverts. So I got kind of fibbed to by the one person that's not here anymore. You know, what they were doing.
What is the plan? Are you going to use the grader, or are you going to use the how do you plan on doing it?
I want to try to start getting out there with so I got the backhoe, and then I have, I do have the excavator. We had the mechanic come in. I got to get 3 tires for the trailer, and he fixed the light issues on it, so I can take that over and get it inspected, and then we'll be able to haul the excavator and be mobile.
Where do you need the excavator to be?
Well, that's what I need to figure out, which roads I'm gonna do next. Because right now we're up on Murphy, spreading the millings that we have back here. They got about 800 feet of millings spread on the top of that hill, and I need to start working those ditches as well. So I want to try to incorporate them as I work with these roads.
So you're going to clean ditches with a backhoe?
That or the excavator if I can get it there.
Does the grader not work? We do not have a qualified operator? What's the
The
issue?
grader does work. So when I went through that dirt and gravel training
2 different sections.
a couple of weeks ago, For some reason, the environmental group and conservation district is very against V-ditches and using it the way I used to do it, just cut and toe heel the ditch lines. So whatever I can't clean with the grader blade, I'm gonna have to do with the backhoe.
Murphy Road was a dirt and gravel road program, I believe, wasn't
Until it
it?
got to the top.
All right.
Okay.
So that's where we picked up
From there, oh, okay.
from there forward.
Okay.
And I walked it today with, I call it the Wonder Wheel. They got 780 feet. It's just because I got 4 guys, so I have 1 roller, 1 on the grader, and then 2 dumps coming back, loading, going back and forth. So hopefully tomorrow we can go a little further. I can go up there and try to help them. Just today I was finishing applications and Captain Noble and I were riding around. So
The bushings are fixed on the grader?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Tony, back to this, these estimates. So are we looking at doing Westbrook and Hillcrest?
Yes.
And it's not going to be like it is now?
No, we do it the right way.
Okay.
How do you plan to do that?
We're gonna cut 3 down, mill 3 down. In the areas that need it further, I'm gonna try to get to the root of the actual pothole and build it up, even if it's us putting geotextile in it with some riprap, doing kind of a French drain in the area. But we're gonna try to run the entire length of it and go. You know, whatever I can do with my guys, I'll do. But that's one thing I got to talk to the contractors about. That we, you know.
Did I read 19 millimeters of asphalt someplace?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to put down 3/4 of an inch asphalt?
No, 19 millimeters is the asphalt size.
The aggregate size.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be a grind 3, lay 3 of 19 millimeter, just so structurally.
So we're
grind-
doing 3 inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be what was done on Erin Road for the asphalt type. So then in a couple of years, we'll do a tar and chip or slurry coat to seal it off.
And I drove it
So,
Westbrook the other day. There's the 2 private lanes. That the second one is the moon. My question is what's the right of way? How far up that lane can we take our 19 millimeter? Because that lane is really the lead of the problem. That their driveway essentially is crap. And then it runs into the road, which makes the road. So my question is, one, how much right of way do we have? How far up that lane can we go with our stuff? And we should go that far, because if we just cut and then there's potholes right at the edge of our fresh pavement,
Right.
then our pavement's going to fail,
Right.
just like it did, with the FDR and tar and chips. If we don't fix their potholes, so if we can go an extra 8 feet, then that's 8 feet of their driveway. Yeah, they get for free, but it saves our road for 8 feet.
Right.
Like you said, if you just cut the line, it's going to look like that again,
Right.
because their driveway is not maintained, and we can't make them do it.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to like half butt it.
do you want to speak to this?
See what I can do.
Like I said, I don't know what the right of way is. Can we go a little bit into their lane a little bit? I can't remember. One is Strange Lane, and I don't remember the other one. But it's the other one that is really bad at the bottom of Westbrook Hill.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember it.
And, that if we can go into that lane a little bit, to help save the road.
Like an apron or something you're saying,
Yeah.
just beyond outside of ours.
'Cause again, I don't know what the right of way is. How far can we legally go into their, property to do that?
Yeah, he's got an 18-foot average for width.
That's it. Yeah, no, length forward.
Length.
That's it.
All right. So are there official lanes, but not driveways, or really like the alleys are all called whatever lane now?
Yeah, that's private. It's not owned by the township, not maintained by the township, or a borough. If you see those, we have them in Athens Borough. Nick
drafted.
Lane is essentially got a
Okay.
driveway.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right,
brown
so,
sign, not a
Matt, you want to go ahead and?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
He's got an
Go ahead.
18-foot average for the width all the way up and down through there. We can do a tar seal on the edges of wherever to help seal it up, just to keep the water out
Right,
of there.
'cause if
from
your
where
lane
it
width
is.
is 12 feet-ish, 12 to 13 feet, yeah, if you can take it another 5 right there, that would be nice, that would just save.
Yeah, future headache.
Yeah, we can talk to the contractors about that stuff.
All right, so getting back to our bids that we need to for these project estimates. Matt, do you want to
Yeah, I'd
speak
like
to those?
So we did, it's gonna be Westbrook top to bottom, up to the jurisdiction up top. I will reach out to Dave Jarrett to see if they wanna do the other side and meet up with us and have them butt up with ours, so it's all new pavement across instead of seaming up to their old stuff. And then Hickory Heights, we had broke down into 2 projects to do that, half this year, maybe half next year, the year after. But I'd like to put the bid out for both so we have an updated, accurate bid on them so we know what we're working with. And definitely want to put the stuff out for Westbrook and Hillcrest as well. So,
Talking to Steve, not to cut you off, sir. They put the Steve put the escalation factor into the bid. That way, if it jumps 10%,
yeah.
you know.
Am I reading this right?
So I would like to make a motion to put these 4 projects out for bid, Westbrook, Hillcrest, and Hickory Heights both have.
These 2 are on one bid, or on one contract.
Gotcha.
And then those can be separated out or
Yeah, 'cause he's
combined.
got restrictions on them.
Yeah, before
But
he does that though.
this would have to be decided which process. That's all that
Oh.
he would need to know what process, because there's 2 different
Gotcha.
processes listed for both of those sections.
Yep.
And I know his recommendation was in the email here.
Yeah,
Okay, so before the motion, Ron,
I don't know if this will answer your question there, Mike, was I believe Westbrook has a 40-foot right-of-way.
Okay, so you can go a long way down that guy's driveway.
Probably, yeah.
Like you said, that Westbrook can't be more than 28 feet wide, total, as it stands now. So yeah, I think that would solve the problem if you could, or would be willing to do that,
Just to help protect the
just to
main
help
part.
protect the road.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we've seen it in Athens Borough, that if you have, say, sidewalk, paved road, and dirt in between, potholes in the dirt from traffic going over and whatnot, and then the road gets it. And then what they did on the one street was they paved all the way to 3 feet to pave it. Because they came through the water main, so they just did it. Because if you don't, so the edge of that, if you go 8 feet into that guy's lane, the first foot is gonna turn into crack. And then the next foot, and then the next foot. But that's gonna take years for that to happen. It'll just save the road where everybody drives, not just the person that just lives there. I think in the long run, $1,000 worth of work is gonna save a lot of headache.
so back to your motion. Matt, do you want to?
Yeah, and
Ron,
on the stuff on Hickory Heights, he has with the bids a higher grade oil and a lower grade oil. The higher grade oil would obviously bind better and it would hold better. I would recommend going with that bid just to save it or make it last longer, I guess, make it worthwhile. But that also is going to be a grind 3, lay 3 on that. The base is good on that. We don't have like sinkholes or anything like that. Just the tar and chip and junk is just broke apart from years of nothing being done.
so you'll have to make your motion again. Ron,
I'm sorry.
Ron
I'm
and
sorry,
John,
Matt.
we're having
No,
a side
I'd
conversation.
like to make a motion to put the Westbrook and Hillcrest all out as a bid and advertise. Also like to make a motion to put out the 2 sections of Hickory Heights development at the higher grade oil.
That's what the 131.
Matt, can you clarify that's paving
For Hickory Heights? Yeah, Hickory Heights and or I'm sorry, yeah. All the things, yeah, paving, yeah.
all the ones you
Yeah,
did.
it'll be grinding 3 inches out and then putting down 3 inches of 19mm
Which is
asphalt.
different than what
The other one was
process.
that
Right, the
FDR
other,
process.
the other one was a full depth reclamation because of all the sinkholes and everything else in the base over there. So it'll be grinding 3 down and adding 3. Yep.
So Matt made a motion. Anyone better make a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Dirt gravel application for Tutelow Creek Road and Orcutt Creek Road.
I don't think
So
he can
I,
handle that, though,
I-
because it's
like,
New York check,
following up on the last meeting I was
not a
at,
township check.
I went with Mr. Robson from Conservation, or Dirt and Gravel, who wrote them. I completed the packets. He came in today, looked at them, and said they were great. Whenever he said, I just have to submit them by the end of the month, which is tomorrow.
Yeah, I read over them. Everything was very detailed.
Yeah, he and I met this morning at 8.
So you need a motion to submit that with him then?
Mhm.
Yep. need
I'll
a
make
mo-
that motion.
Ron, you good? Or are you still?
No,
reviewing?
I'm good.
Okay, so you're making a motion for Tutelow Creek Road and Orcutt Creek Road, right?
Correct, to submit the
To
applications.
submit the
for dirt gravel.
applications. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Is that yes, you, Ron?
Yes, I'll second
All
it,
in
sorry.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, and next we have the resignation of one of our public works, Chris Stokes.
Yes, yeah, when I was down in Holmesdale, he had put in vacation, to take care of whatever family matters he had for 2 weeks, and it just so happened that he got a job at the same time. So when he called me when I was down there in Holmesdale at 3 o'clock, he was just saying goodbye. So that was it.
Okay.
So what are we down to, 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have, that goes into this next one. We have one more, Heather, she's already passed all the background and everything. She just needs to do the year analysis. She has a CDL, active physical. She does have a good driving. She has a long history of driving buses and FedEx vans and for the big, so.
Before we do anything with Heather, I'll make a motion to accept Chris's resignation. Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Matt's not here. All right. So Heather, did anyone on the board interview
Matt.
Heather with? Okay, he's not here, so let's hold that one till he comes back. Let's talk about the machine, the equipment.
That's her.
That's her, okay. All right, we're gonna have to come back to that when we have Matt come in. All right.
Question.
Name?
Rebecca Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys have people that resign and you're looking for applicants, people you're reviewing, are you guys, other than just, a CDL driver, are you guys looking to have any equipment to operate that stuff? Because to my understanding, your guys are going to have to utilize both.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they're a CDL operator, can they run the equipment out of their yard?
She can run some of it. We do have grader training coming up for dirt and gravel, so she's going to go through that. And Brian, who started with me, I'm going to make sure he goes through that. And even Kevin, my new hire, even though he can run a grader, it's not going to hurt him to go and get fine-tuned on some new techniques. So, trying to find the last person we had the one that we really wanted to hire, who was a really good grader operator, and opened up right before it and I lost him. So it's just trying to get somebody who has an actual CDL and
Yeah, I know, good luck
it's
with
hard.
that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fish in the pool.
No, there's not.
You know, to do, certainly for township, does way more than Athens Borough does. You know, we hired a guy 7, 8 months ago that, yes, he drove over the road.
That's it, yeah, we need
And he
to.
did concrete
Subject
work.
to
You know, barely ran it back.
your analysis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's trying
In
to
the
find,
paperwork.
and,
Yeah.
you know, people that check all the boxes, that's just not gonna happen. You know, so I mean, it is a struggle, and again, if they don't apply,
Right.
you
So-
know, that's the thing too, is, you know, oh, if the job had come up 3 months ago, you know, I'd have took it or something like that, so, yeah.
Okay, so I
unfortunately-
want to move along here. Matt, you're back, and Tony was talking about Heather,
Yep.
and we need to just have the paperwork back and your analysis clearance and all of that.
Yep.
So I think we just need to make a motion to hire Heather contingent. What's Heather's last name?
Fenton.
Fenton.
Yep, at an MEO 1.
And her background and everything is back?
Yes.
All right. So for Heather Fenton, what we need to do is make a motion to hire her based on contingent on all the paperwork and your analysis and screenings.
I'll make that motion.
Okay? Go
I
ahead.
do think it has to be, as Matt suggested, as an MEO one.
Yes.
As part of that
Yep.
motion.
Okay.
Yeah, Megan.
Yeah, I have it down.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
The MEO one, okay. So Matt, you made a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second.
Thank
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that will be our first female road public works. Awesome. All right, the Athens Township Police Department, we'll move to that section next. The MOU Police Chief Thomas updated, and I think that's just is that just the date
date of
or
hire.
the date of hire?
Yes.
Right, so do we need to make a motion or just,
I think we probably do, because it really is in place of the previous MOU. Because
Okay.
it now reflects the appropriate date.
and
of hire.
the date is?
I believe it was April 2nd.
April
It's
2nd,
on the back
okay.
page, yeah.
So I'll make a motion to, the effective date, April 2nd, for Chief Thomas.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I think I just need to sign this and then.
How's it going, Chief?
Passing it.
Good so far. Yep. No complaints.
Do you have anything for us?
I don't.
Okay.
No, not today.
Not today.
All right, the next topic, the Officer Clink, hire as an SRO. So we are contracted to have 3 SROs. And with that they're part-time SROs. We just need to make a motion for
Is there
Officer Clink.
is there
Go ahead.
paperwork he has to do different from like an MO, whatever these things are, an MOU?
I don't believe so.
We can just hire
because-
him.
No.
Is it-
So through MOPEC, I did the separation from the full-time chief of police, and then you add them as part-time. So as far as MOPEC and the state is concerned, we're good on their end. That's all been completed.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion. We hire Roger as a part. What's he want? Part-time?
It's they're part-time.
Part-time SRO.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Ooh.
Any
What-
opposed?
What are we paying him an hour?
It's $25. an
Well,
hour
that needs
for
to be
the
in the minutes,
SRO.
so, yeah.
So 25.
Okay.
There's no benefits for that.
No.
Those SROs out
Yeah,
there.
and we can state reimbursement.
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. So I just need a motion to accept the monthly reports. Did everyone review those?
Yeah, some of that
So-
stuff was in our
Oh,
packet.
on the agenda, I copied from a different agenda, and it did not have the planning one on there because of the, they wanted to have the report with the meeting, the approved minutes, not the draft minutes. So there was a meeting that there was no planning report. I forgot to type it back in here. So the planning report is included in the under planning, the documents from above in
And
the
we have
agenda.
that from above.
So it is
I saw
in there.
those.
It just
Yeah.
so that we note that one is included in
Okay.
And the fire report
Okay,
was
so
there
we
also.
had the authority, we had the fire, we had the
That
roads,
was my
the
mistake.
police, building permits, and we've got
Yep.
the treasure report. So I just need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And next. And this is the bills, right?
Yep.
To pay. It's at 60, 79, 32, or these are. Hold on. 60, 79. Oh, thanks for that. I missed all my paper. All right, I need a motion to pay the monthly bills. Total $6,204.93. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. I'll give the paper back to you. Thank you. Approval of the minutes, the Board of Supervisors regular meeting on the 8th. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes from 4/8. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to consider, discuss the following audits update.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you?
Yes.
Ready for the acknowledgement.
Oh, go ahead,
so-
Mason.
The
No, that's you.
the pension audit, April is almost through. She's at the final steps of completing it. She said she should be done by next week. And then for the CPAs, I sent in the request last Tuesday, I believe it was. So they have everything that they need so far. They anticipated having the DCED report done by the end of next month. So,
Okay.
and they have access to our townships to submit DCED report on every day.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. The Commissioner's renewal request, District Magistrate Office lease.
Yeah, I finally was able to track down the new solicitor who is handling the negotiations, if you will. She is out of Pittsburgh, and she just said, make us a proposal, and I'll be happy to take it to the commissioners. So I don't know if you have an amount in mind that would satisfy the municipality, but...
Hmm? What's it going to cost to do Westbrook? No. What are we're getting, what, 1,000 a month now?
1,000, yeah. Because we don't actually own the building, it's just...
What's this for? How long, John?
I think it's 5 years, I believe.
Can we get out of it at any time?
There are provisions that would allow us to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Their solicitor for the commissioners is out of Pittsburgh?
Yeah. I'd be happy to go down and negotiate with her if you'd like.
You want to leave it at 1,000?
They did offer 1,000, but to me it seemed like after 5 years, perhaps.
Yeah, with inflation.
Well, I was going to say, we probably can.
Take it to 15?
Doug did say he'd write a blank check.
Yeah.
We should make it a graduated lease.
Yeah, so it increases after each year.
Start at 1,200 by the end of
They said
the
they'll do
year.
it for 1,000, and we're agreeable on that town, let's stay there.
Do that. Yeah, what's the term of the lease now?
I believe it's 5 years.
I kind of like that idea. Do a graduated lease. Do 12 and then tack another $100 on a year or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Up to the 1,500 then. 12, 15,
Well,
16.
Excuse me, don't speak up, we can't hear anything back here. I'm sorry. Excuse.
Talking about the lease for the magistrate's office there.
Okay.
She had brought up a graduated lease, like start out at, it was 1,000, start out at 1,200 and then add another 100 or so on every year for the next 5 years for the term of the lease.
Worst thing is they say no or come back with a counter proposal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
So do we need to do anything with that?
Need a
John, as
motion.
far as motion
I
for
would say
that?
maybe
we
just make a motion to have me negotiate and to offer a graduated lease starting at $1,200 a month.
in
Or
$100.
$1,200, I'm sorry, a year, and then $100 more each year thereafter.
Okay.
Why are we adding $100 a year?
That's what they were just discussing, was the graduated lease.
What's that? We can't hear you back here.
We're talking about a graduated lease.
What do you want to do,
For
Paul?
the magistrate office.
Paul asked why
They
we were
offer
going to have
$1,000 a month, we'll pay $1,000 a month. Why are we bumping ourselves?
No, we're
No,
they're
it's
paying
This
us.
is from the county.
Oh, they're paying us, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, that's why we're bumping it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, but why wouldn't we?
Does the county pay
All
the
right.
utility for that, or is it part of the property here?
They're just paying to have the building on the property. They pay all their own utilities and everything.
Oh, they do. Okay.
They're just leasing the dirt.
It's expensive dirt.
Expensive
All right,
dirt.
do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
I'll
For
second.
With the
John? For John?
for what John, to have John negotiate the lease with the county.
Right, graduated lease.
Yes,
All right, do we have a second?
yes, Paul did.
Paul did?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're good.
sorry, Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. Good suggestion.
Storage options revisited.
Okay, we have, it goes back and forth for what's available and what's not every time I have to go back to them. So currently, there is a 300 square foot available at Sandroni's and a 300 square foot at Valley Storage Company. Bolt did not reply to me today,
I still think that's a long
but that one
way
is the
over.
farthest one out. so-
Yeah, that's on the board.
But that was the last that I had heard.
Yeah.
Okay, so past, yeah.
All right, what one do we want to do? We've been passing the buck here for how many
Yeah.
months?
So, and really our lease is coming up in June,
Yeah.
and those are turned into apartments, so what do we think the 300 square foot is enough?
Yes.
We do.
The current one is 350, and we've
Okay.
we've removed quite a bit so far. I mean, then there's still
Okay.
wiggle room for what we've moved out, and I think personally that would be fine, but
300,
So-
is 200 not enough?
that would be,
Tight?
yeah.
Okay.
It would be, you wouldn't be able to like move things around as easily with the filing cabinets and whatnot,
Okay.
Only one I've
because a lot of those have
experienced
to be
was
locked and stay filing cabinets.
Sandroni. I was there a couple weeks ago.
What's the square footage of a shipping container?
I use
Okay.
syndrome. I have two.
Yeah,
He's got
And-
cameras around.
And they can be month to month,
they're cheaper than,
so it's not contracted for a
much,
year
All
or
the-
5 or
20
whatever.
foot long?
okay. So do we
I-
want to make a motion on,
Ms. Witt would know. Nancy, what's the square footage on a storage container?
You got 40 foot.
Approximate.
You got a 40-foot container, is 8 foot wide, 40 feet long, 8 foot tall. You can also get a high cube, You can also get a 53-foot container.
What's standard, what's laying
Right now, we
around
just need stuff out
junkyard?
of there, and because we're gonna have to do it ourselves.
All of them are standard, but you can get
We're
a, you
paid
can
to
get a
do that,
40-foot
and that'll be the next
container,
meeting, because
and,
then we're in
I
June.
mean,
Okay,
So we have to do something right now.
okay.
And it can be month to month, just for now, until whatever the next process is.
Well, that's what I'm asking, is what's the square footage?
Okay,
Or it could be, you
So-
can get a high cube.
do we want to?
Because we can pick
Sam,
one
we
of those up
got
for $3
Sam.
grand.
Well, we gotta do
We have to
something
do
tonight.
something
We have to do something
now.
tonight,
We
because we gotta be out of here.
postpone this for months now. We gotta
Yeah.
be out of there in June.
We have to
That's
get
when the
a
lease is up.
place so that at the next meeting, the plan for
Yeah.
transporting the materials will have to happen in a time frame, is then you're out of time.
And we can do this month to month.
Yeah.
So Sandroni's is $230 a month for the 300
use that
square
for a month
foot.
or two.
And Valley Storage,
We'll figure out what
so,
we're doing.
I got a guy out.
I'll make the motion to go with Sandroni Storage.
okay,
month to
there's
month.
a motion on the table for Sandroni, $230 for the month to month. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay.
All right. LSA grant funds options update.
I finally got the go-ahead to contact the dealership. Within 3 hours, he had 2 quotes to me for an SUV and a pickup truck from what we had submitted for the grant. I'm just waiting on the confirmation from our contact for the grant that that's acceptable. It does state in the contract that it's to be used for the scope of the project, which the project is adding. The scope of the project is purchase of vehicles associated with Athens Township Municipal Fleet Edition. So we should be fine. I just want that written go ahead. He said right now the 2 quotes are under what we had originally submitted and were awarded for the $92,000. And in the contract, if anyone else had a second to go through it, it does say we have until June 30th of 2028 to have for the final processes. So we would want to use that at the latest, the end of 2027.
So we don't have to make a decision.
So we
right
don't
now.
have-
We're not on the gun for that.
We don't have to make everything decided right now,
Okay.
which goes into the next point
Is this
of
vehicle
the
for
zoning
code
vehicle.
enforcement, or?
I don't know, what,
So,
Yeah, what are we talking
Yeah,
here?
one for,
what's in your packet?
one for code enforcement, and then one will go to the Public Works Department pickup truck. One's a small SUV, one's a pickup truck.
In the application was for 2 vehicles for the township across zoning, office, public works, and parks. So to do the zoning vehicle is the one in need now, and maybe hold and see what the next thing is that will be.
How many miles are on the zoning vehicle? Approximately.
Like 88. Yeah, it's
88, it's a 2013,
Yeah.
so it's 14 years old. We got 88,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
Why don't we look at a lease?
I think it's about 88, yeah.
You can get 15,000 miles a year on a lease. If you go over the mileage, you just trade the vehicle in, which you're gonna have to do anyway at the end of the term.
issue.
Yeah, but if we can get one that don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say.
Yeah, this
Right,
is through a
'cause this
grant.
is
We're
through
not,
This is
we're
through
not
a
paying.
grant.
Yeah, so right now, I kind of need to know what direction to go in for if they come back and say, yes, they can do the SUV instead of both the 2 trucks, that what avenue do I need to be in for size? They did quote an Equinox. I don't know if that's too small, if that works. I don't know.
They're not real fuel efficient, I can tell you that.
It's got to be better than that Expedition out there.
Well, yes,
So-
but it's still,
What's a good mid-size SUV?
I mean, there's Tahoes.
A what?
Tahoe.
Oh, well, we don't have enough money here for one of those.
Correct.
Tawanda Chevrolet is a CoStar dealer?
Yes,
We actually have one in the county now?
there's a few. I actually have a list.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So what do we want to do here? So
I
we
just need a
can
little
give
direction. If she comes
Megan
back and says
direction.
we can, then I know what I'm supposed to be looking for to bring to the next meeting, because otherwise zoning doesn't happen without a zoning vehicle.
And we need to
I'd
do
like to-
something with that.
I don't know about the Equinox. I still think it's a little small.
What's the next step?
Blazers.
Yeah.
Traverse. Or Blazer, yeah.
A Blazer would probably be better. Look at a, see if you can get a,
I can ask him for quotes on, for the Blazer
I
and
think the Blazer would be,
whatever
yeah.
the
The
next
Durangos are coming back out this year too, so I don't.
Well, we have to go through what we
Yeah, the Chevy dealers,
we tied with
co-stars.
with the dealership.
My
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah, having one Blazer out.
We
Yeah.
just have them get a quote for a Blazer and
We don't.
Yeah.
In the Traverse.
And
I-
or
And the-
Yeah, and they keep the pickup truck. I mean, they could even go to Blazer.
Yeah.
Sure.
So do we need to make a motion on this?
No.
We have her-
She's
no,
got,
I just
Okay,
need
you've got
direction
what
for
you-
when they come
okay.
back,
All right,
so
there's-
that at the next meeting I can have everything, and then we
Okay.
can.
So you have your direction?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Erin Road survey, study for weight rating update. Do we
No, wait.
have, what? Did I move-
we got to do
Oh,
something.
yeah.
We
The,
got-
Oh, wait a minute.
I did get the written quote for what it will cost for do the repairs for the current zoning vehicle.
That would keep the old one on the road till we get a new one.
Somebody called me the other day and said you could do this for 1,000, the rockers on both sides. Yeah, it'll pass.
Yeah. For now.
So we do need, he needs to get.
Until we get a new one.
You get another year out of it.
Well, you know what though?
Start doing stuff.
If we get repaired stuff, Paul, we can sell this
So,
as it's been inspected.
So current
Right.
zoning vehicle now, quote was $3,535.01 to be able to make it inspectable and back out on the road. Front brakes, rear brakes, front and rear rotors, right front wheel bearing, ball joints both sides, inner outer rockers.
all right.
Oh, we can take the tax off of this too.
Oh yeah, so it'd be
33, 35.
33, 3501.
All right. Do we have a motion to get this inspected and get back on the road so Eddie can get out and start?
I'll second that motion. Let's get it inspected.
Well, so you made it.
Okay. I made that, and Paul seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposing. All right, now let's move to Erin Road. Survey study.
I have a list of engineers from Steve Tutelow and reached out to, I think I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I contacted 8 different locations and companies to see about getting the engineering survey and traffic study done. I also reached out to LTAP, who could have, you can request technical assistance and it's no cost, but they can't cover it because it does need the engineering part of it done. I did hear back from Hunt Engineering, Larson, Mid-Penn Engineering, and I think it was Stahl Schaefer. They're all going to provide quotes for the processes and timeframes. Some can possibly do something before the end of this season, this summer. Others are saying they could do could get it started by the end of the summer and likely not have anything back and have it, and the weights enforceable until spring.
Tony,
So it all depends on who has time to get the studies, because all the studies and the surveys the information has to be sent out once it's back to be verified, and it's
Tony,
just
can
kind of
this,
a process.
the gentleman that was here, can they do that?
I can ask them tomorrow. I'm gonna follow up on tomorrow.
See if that's something they,
So it's in process, it's just I'm waiting to get, I should have, by the next meeting, I should have some quotes for what it looks like to do those processes.
So they didn't
Okay.
do this before they did all that work on Erin Road?
This is to change, this is to confirm the weight that the road can handle. Because the original, the current weight rating that's on that road is based off of the little culvert, not the road itself. So now that the road has been reprocessed to enforce the weights of the trucks that are passing along that aren't likely supposed to be.
You know, like the last little, 20 feet that they didn't pay?
They didn't.
It's caused all this?
No, it's just based on the weight of it itself.
Right?
Yeah, that's where the culvert is that we're
Right.
talking about.
The culvert's just a little concrete section there, it's not the pavement.
But when they do this, when they do the engineering survey and that part of the road is still,
what's that?
it's not just on the new part, it's, they're
That's what
gonna
they're
do
talking
the whole
about,
road.
it's a culvert, that's all.
Make sure the asphalt.
That's all, just a big blue.
Right.
Right now, it's 10 tons.
So when are these CDL vehicles driving?
So,
Yeah, but it still can be
Well, that's
10
what we're
tons,
trying
but
to
it's
do.
still, they can't enforce it because it's not up to date.
We have to be able, we have to
So
have
next
engineering
month we'll
study
know.
done.
So the weight could not change, but it still can't be enforced until it's redone.
We're getting trucks that
So,
sit right up on the
for
road.
you can just put the Erin Road on
Yeah.
next month, because it'll give you time to hear back from folks. Okay, next
Wait,
topic is
Wait, Dan, wasn't,
I
Dan,
mean, I understand.
explain why we have to have this study.
So, the township, we don't have a set of scales, and even if we did, we would still need that engineering study. But the state will do that for us. They'll sit with us as much as we want them to, or what their schedule allows.
Right.
But everything has to be up to date, or they won't. They gotta have the engineering study, we'll have to get copies, they'll need that on file so that they can run their scales on that road.
Doesn't the fact that the guy has a CDL, which obviously means the vehicle weighs 26,000 pounds, puts him over 10 tons?
The problem is what the state had told me is we can't consider it a 10-ton road. We can't enforce it because if the engineering study comes back and it says a different weight, it's not registered.
What about the bridge?
It's got to be on the road. They said if the study wasn't done, we can't do one section of road and say this one's had a study done and now this one isn't. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just if we write somebody and we go to court, you can't.
How does this work though, Dan? I mean, if you drive up Wookle Hollow, PennDOT's got 10-ton weight limits on it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So they could.
I mean, it's blanket all over the county.
They could. I could see about them potentially. Okay, we can't sit on Erin Road. The trucks are still going to
Sit on
cross
Wookle
Erin.
Hollow.
Maybe they'll sit on Wookle Hollow for us. I'm sure they'll do that. I'm sure that if that's a state road, that study should be done. I'm sure.
And there's a tractor trailer company on that road. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Same thing at Springfield Road, I've been going back and forth out there. It's labeled 10 ton all the way out through there, and I pass water trucks the whole way.
I live on Erin Road. I mean, every night, it's not trucks, but it's motorcycles are racing up and down. I mean, it's just, they tear that road up.
Okay.
All right,
I'm sorry.
so-
Sorry.
I'll thank you later. The resolution, defined benefit pension plans, 2025, 2026, no contribution.
Oh, wow. What do we have to do?
So this is,
I'll make a motion on that.
It's not a change. This resolution isn't a change. It is, it was not done in the beginning of the year. It needs to be stated for record. That it's not a, yeah, it needs to be included in the reorg stuff going forward.
all right, so we need a,
I'll make a motion for that resolution.
So
I'll
our employees
second.
don't pay their own pension? My
Second.
understanding is.
I did.
Yeah, they make no contribution towards the pension.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the next is the emergency declaration ordinance revision.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, remember we had done the snow emergency, and then we looked at expanding it, so that's just a draft for the review. Provide me with input, and I can certainly change it.
Okay.
All right, so we need to review it. I'll take it. We need to review and get back to John. Okay. That'll need to be on next month then. Expand energy, new lease proposal, additional parcels.
Have you seen this?
Did you see the
Yes.
ones I sent, or I updated? I did fancy stuff.
Oh, no, I didn't see yours.
No, we can't do these.
Well, do you remember we had that conversation, because I had discussed with DCNR, and they said to send copies of the lease. Well, that's very nice. Very good, yeah, that's what Jim came.
Yeah, so there, yours will take it too, but there, I marked them off so that it was.
And it took them a very long time, so I'd want to go back and receive additional approval from them. But they seem to suggest that that would be acceptable as long as it was a no-access lease, and that they would not be permitted to do any surface work.
So it's just a subsurface lease.
Correct, for the FEMA properties.
Do you have an address?
It's out off of Wildwood Road.
Why would they want to lease it?
I don't know either.
I have
You
no
put a
idea.
$750,000 piece of equipment in there and the river comes up 20 feet overnight.
Well, they would have no.
But they can't, they won't be able to drill on our property, but I'm wondering
But
if,
they could use it as a parking area. I think that's
Well.
probably what they're looking at, is a staging area. if
no,
anything.
they can't, they can't do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
he agrees, all
provisions in there that
subsurface.
said
Yeah,
they
no
can't.
equipment, no nothing on
I
that.
wonder if, somebody else is doing something over there.
Could be that.
I don't understand
know.
why they didn't do it all at the same time.
I have no idea. There had been
You
an
gonna look,
initial.
did you get one of these?
Yes and no. I got a copy of the lease, but I
Yours is
haven't
in there.
had a chance to review what she did, which is nice.
You want it?
I'm.
Okay.
So we just need to.
I didn't know
Right.
if you had any interest in it, so I wasn't gonna.
Yeah. So I think
I guess we'll have to
just
see.
review it. and
Do you
see
want
what-
me to at least reach out to DCNR again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure we're
Yeah.
not, yeah,
Right. I think that's probably advisable.
okay.
I have to go back and.
Do we want to make a motion for that, John, that you can, to reach out to,
Yes.
I'll make a motion that John
have contact.
contact DCNR for the new updated gas lease.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
Pattern notes.
Any opposed? All right. Advertising service subscription and publication rates for review.
They're both the same. So to get the paper, either it's the same price to get either one for the subscription, and it is the same pricing for advertising in both as well.
We don't need both, do we?
No.
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 Okay.
So they're
Well,
both
they're
the
the
same.
same anyway.
Yeah.
General
Right, they're the
circulation
same.
within the municipality, so.
So do you have a preference over the Times or the Daily Review? Do
I don't have a
Doesn't
problem,
matter
I
to
don't
me.
care, they're, like you said, they're both the same paper.
Well, we need to,
I can hear you
make
guys.
it- yeah, if we
I
can
mean,
hear you
sorry.
talking back there. We're talking about the Morning Times or Daily Review. We do not need both. So that's what we're deciding, which paper that we're going to use.
Got a quarter, flip for it.
Do you want a quarter?
No.
We can flip.
Do we know what the
What-
respective
The Times is the one up here.
circulation is in the two? Like, which one has more?
The Morning Times has more.
In Athens Township?
Yeah.
The Morning Times has more circulation than the Daily Review.
And Matt sits right here, or doesn't he, every month?
He does.
Matt from the Morning
Mhm.
Times?
Yes.
Mhm.
He's both, but
He's both.
He's
for the-
both.
He's both, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we go to the Morning Times.
All right, I'll
We can keep
second.
moving.
For
I'll
both
second.
the subscription and the advertising?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I have, okay, I had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Williams Ford Road closure request, the Friday night headlights on May 15th. They've done this for several years. It's a good community event for people that come out. The letter is on behalf of Williams Ford of Sayre and Williams Auto Group. I, Christopher Rowe, General Manager at Williams Ford of Sayre, am formally requesting the closure of Bressler Street for the annual Friday night headlights, May 15th from 5 to 9. They look forward to hosting a fun, safe, and family-friendly event for our community to enjoy. We greatly appreciate your continued support in allowing us to try and make our community a better place every day.
They don't close the whole street, do they? I thought they just closed it for where their lots were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it's
just that section.
it's just that section.
Okay.
Should have been made a
All right.
cul-de-sac 20 years ago. Make a motion to go ahead and close the street then.
All right,
I'll second it.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right. Parish Notary renewal clarification.
Cindy, when we went over the notes from the last meeting about the notary, she did clarify that she can only do, her renewal is only for doing township business. It can't be resident business unless it's related to something directly to the township. Yeah, like the zoning. She would have to have separate office hours outside of her work hours, and she would have to have a fee schedule and would be eligible to receive part of the payments for the service as well. So,
okay,
going forward, just so that it's clear that she's notary for the township, for township related business.
All right. Thank you. Personnel staff, do we have anything on that? All right, moving to correspondence information. Expand Energy, the well permit application notice, Sheshequin Township. Expand operating is applying for a well permit for the attached well location. Enclosed, you will find a copy of the well location plats submitted to the Department of Environmental Protection as part of the application to drill. The DEP requires applicants to notify the following parties: surface landowners at the well location, surface landowners and water purveyors with water supplies within 3,000 municipality where the well will be drilled, adjacent municipalities within 3,000 of the vertical well bore gas storage operator if within 3,000. The closed copy of the well location plat is for your records. No action is required. Okay, so that's just for Sheshequin Township. COG, the agenda and meeting minutes and electronic recycling event is May 16th. Did you go to that meeting?
No, I didn't make that
You
one.
didn't make it,
No.
okay. All right. There was a guest speaker there from code inspections. They reviewed old business.
It's on the back.
And the Western Bradford County Council of Governments electronic recycling event will be Saturday, May 16th, 8 a.m. to noon, Alperone Park, Lower Meadows Pavilion in Troy. Access and exit gate 3. Cost is $10 per TV, computer, monitor, laptop, tablet, anything with a screen. Everything else is free. Accepting many items, including TVs, monitors, computers, data center equipment, office equipment, mobile devices, entertainment equipment, lab and medical equipment, cable equipment, and miscellaneous. No refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, no household refuse, no CRT, wooden console, or projection TVs. Okay. So if you have any electronics, there you go. Global Document Services, Document Conversion, Shredding Management Solutions.
She called and asked if she could submit some information to have reviewed, and I told her that we had, there's been other options that have been discussed as well, and I kind of have them all in like a little folder, so that's something that I believe would be pertinent to bring to budget
Yeah.
season,
Yep.
because it takes a long time to shred things. From experience.
Right. LTAP trainings, May 5th, asphalt. Placement compaction evaluation, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. and it's virtual. And that is the end. I will, does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Do we have any executive stuff to do?
Well, we need to adjourn this and then go into executive session.
You just did.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the public meeting and we will then go into executive session. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.
All right. Thanks all.
I'm sorry, what?